So Arizona is actually a no-fault state. And what that means is you don't need grounds in order to get a divorce. We don't require any type of thing to have happened in order for you to initiate divorce proceedings. It also doesn't require two people to consent to the divorce. In Arizona, you only need one person who wants to get divorced in order for the couple to end up needing to get separated. Arizona is a community property state. And what that means is that we typically divide your assets and your debts equitably. Equitably usually means as close to equal as is possible, but it does not always mean exactly equally when we're dividing assets and debts in a divorce. Usually in Arizona, when we're dividing assets and debts in a divorce process, we're looking at things like bank accounts, retirement accounts, we're dividing real property, vehicles. It's all of the things that you've acquired during the marriage that needs to be divided before you guys can separate. From a liability perspective, that would include things like medical debts, credit cards, student loans, all the liabilities that you may have incurred during the course of marriage. Spousal maintenance in Arizona is support for one of the parties. Usually it's the party who is earning less during the marriage. You'll see it a lot in situations where you have a stay-at-home parent and the other parent is, earning the income for the family. When the parties decide that they need to separate, a lot of the time we'll need to set one of them up with what we call spousal maintenance, which is support for that parent in the time of the separation. It can be for a set period of time or it can be indefinite in certain circumstances. But that support is designed to help the parent through that journey of separating from their other spouse, and it's designed to help them get back on their feet to be able to be self-sufficient on their own. Spousal support is a pretty gray area in Arizona. It is common in cases. Usually we start to see it when parties are married for a term of 5 to 10 years. It usually requires some degree of sufficient marriage. We're also going to look at both spouses. We're going to look at the lesser earning spouse and see if they're capable of being self-sufficient on their own. If they're not, and the other spouse is capable of paying them spousal maintenance, that's when we're going to look at the Arizona spousal maintenance guidelines to figure out what the spousal maintenance needs to be, as well as for how long that'll need to be paid. Children are probably one of the most difficult parts of divorces. Children can be very difficult to handle divorces on their own. Children can have a tough time emotionally understanding that their parents are separating. Obviously, in a lot of those circumstances, children have had both of their parents in their lives every day throughout the course of the marriage, and so now this is going to be a very different chapter of their lives. They need to learn what it's like to not have each parent in their house. They need to learn what it's like to not have both parents available, and so children can add a really complex section of the divorce that you wouldn't otherwise have to deal with when you're going through a dissolution in Arizona. Children can heavily impact parents in a dissolution. It can impact things like where you're going to be able to live, how far you're going to be able to live from the other parent. It can certainly impact your ability to relocate from a state. Relocating children is looked at in Arizona as one of the hardest burdens in all of family law. Arizona has this presumption that it's in the best interest of a child for both parents to have equal rights and equal time with the child. And that's what the Arizona courts always want to do. So when you have one party that wants to relocate a child from Arizona to a different state, presumably that would mean that the child wouldn't be able to be with both parents equally. And so it's a very difficult, very hard thing to do. It is possible in certain circumstances, but it can be really difficult, and there are really high evidentiary burdens to be able to relocate a child. If you have any questions about handling a divorce or divorce in general in Arizona, give us a call at Desert Legal Group. We'd be happy to help.